Hey everybody, it is Monday, the 8th of February, or Tuesday, the 9th of February. So the last time that we were in class, last Wednesday, Thursday, we read Down on the Farm. It was practicing clue strategy and the techniques along with that, and you took a little comprehension quiz on that. So today we will be reading the next story called The Dragonfly. Okay, so The Dragonfly will be your next story. We read chapter 2 of The Gun. You guys did a summary of The Gun for chapter 2. And I actually forgot to remind you to do the warm-ups to The Gun, so we'll be working on those today. And 2 more words in vocab set 6. They're due this Wednesday, Thursday, and then you'll have a test on them in class the following Monday. Okay, it's going to be on paper. So I'm going to have you get a few things open at this time. So if you would get your Chromebook out and go to Schoology, and I'm going to have you get a few things open. So I'm going to put that into my slideshow here so I can show and talk at the same time. All right, so first of all, open up the Daily Doc for today. Open up the Daily Doc for today. Okay. Again, that's in the black folder, and of course you'll look for the one that says 2829. Okay, so the Daily Doc is black folder, and then you just open up the one for 2829. There it is. Okay, so get that open. Okay, the other item that you want to get open is the vocab set 6 words. If you're doing that on paper, you should have the paper open or out. If you're doing it on the document, the vocab document, then you would have to go back to the vocab folder, and then you would find the vocab folder for you guys is orange. So you open that up. Sometimes these are a little bit slow, especially when you go into opening the story. So daily document open from the black folder, and then the vocab set 6 document open as well. Okay, so vocab set 6, of course, is in the vocab folder, set 6, because a lot of you are copying and pasting to the steno pad, so it's right there. All right, so you got that open, and that is marvelous. Okay, so open that, your own document. So you're opening 3 things. You're open the daily doc, the vocab doc, or take out the paper vocab doc. And then you're opening up the little story that we're doing for comprehension tests. Okay, where's that? Okay, again, you got to kind of go back to the beginning, leave your, daily doc and vocab document open. Then you go to prediction strategy, the pink folder, open that. And then they're in the blue because we already did all those other ones. So we already did 1A, but we got to do all the way through 1E in this little chunk right here. So open that up. So sometimes these are a little bit slower because they actually have pictures and other graphics. So it makes it a little bit longer on these. Okay, so we already did 1A down on the farm, and you kept track of your score for the comprehension for that. Today we're going to do 1B, the dragonfly. So once your document opens, you're going to scroll down just a little bit to the second story called The Dragonfly by Sol Freed. Okay, and you see a little picture on the document once you get to it. So if you were to apply clue, if before you begin reading, obviously it's going to be about a dragonfly. You see a picture of the dragonfly there, so you know what size it is and that kind of thing. You might just kind of glance through and you see some numbers. So it's going to talk about maybe the size of the dragonfly and such. So as you're looking at the document, let me get over here. Okay, so the dragonfly is the second story. So that would be some things you'd put for C. L, for link to prior knowledge, you might know that dragonflies have really fragile wings. You might know that their body's kind of crunchy if you were to squish it. Okay? They have a big head, and maybe their eyeballs are up there. So that would be some of the link to prior knowledge. Uncover predictions. Well, I predict that in this article, it's going to tell about the dragonfly and some of its features and where it goes, maybe, and what it does. Maybe how it produces, because I see a lot about eggs down here. Okay, then you go, you read it, then you tell about what you read for E, examine the reading. So I'm going to read it to you now. You follow along. Remember that you want to make sure that you also open up the questions to the story. So I'm going to grab another Schoology because it took so long for that one to load. So I'm going to go grab the questions to the story. And you want to have those next to the story so that you're able to look at the questions and the story at the same time when you go to take the quiz. Because you'll do a better job if you actually have the story and the questions open at the same time. So again, you got to be in the prediction strategy, pink to blue. Then you go down and grab the tests category. That's like at the bottom. Here's the comprehension tests. That shouldn't take as long to load because it doesn't have pictures on it. So we already did the first test. So you want to have these kind of side by side. Normally on a test, they'd be together on the same document, but that's not how this company does it. So I had to load them up separate. Okay, so you'll find the comprehension test. Again, once it loads, you want to make sure that you read the questions to yourself so you know what you're kind of trying to concentrate on while I read to you. Okay, so again, you want to make sure you know what to concentrate on. So I will get these on here hopefully soon. They'll be loading up. You read the 10 questions. I'll give you a sticky note and you'll write down your answers for 1 through 10. Then we'll document it on your chart again, okay? So we'll be getting our binders in just a moment to get our charts as well after we're done here. All right, so just hang tight. All right, so that's going to be loading up. We'll be charting our progress and see how we do on each of those. Okay, we'll kind of compare our charts as we get through, and this is story 1B. Okay, so here's the dragonfly. Number 1, dragons eat insects that. 2, dragonfly wings are. 3, a dragonfly's head is mostly. 4, damselflies fly. 5, as adults, dragonflies live. 6, you can conclude from the article, so what do you say at the end, that dragonfly wings are? 7, a dragonfly might need to lay 100,000 eggs because, so pay attention to why do they lay so many eggs. One thing dragonflies and damselflies have in common is, according to the article, people should think of the dragonfly as, and dragonflies lay their eggs in water, which suggests that. Okay, so that's the question. So back to the story. Okay, so you follow along on your screen. I'm going to read the story from my book now, and then you'll go through and complete your 10 questions. The dragonfly. Among the most beautiful and useful of all insects is the dragonfly. It has thin, silvery wings. Its body may be steel blue, purple, green, or copper. The dragonfly eats mosquitoes, flies, and other insects harmful to people. It lives on or near the water. The dragonfly is a quick, darting insect that flies swiftly from place to place. Sometimes it changes its direction so quickly in mid-flight that its sudden movement is hard to follow with the eye. It can also hover over a lake or stream as it looks for food. The dragonfly's wingspan is from 2 to 6 inches, 5 to 13 centimeters wide. Its body is about 3 inches, 8 centimeters long. Its 6 legs are far forward and close together. The dragonfly can curve its legs to form a basket. It uses this basket to scoop insects from the air. Then it puts them into its jaws. These jaws have strong teeth. 2 great eyes cover most of its head. Each eye has from 20,000 to 28,000 tiny eyes joined together. With these big eyes, the dragonfly can see its prey easily. There are 2 large groups of these insects, the dragonflies themselves and the damselflies. Dragonflies dart with the speed of an express train. Some can fly nearly 40 miles, 67 kilometers an hour. Their 2 rear wings are larger than the front pair. They are held outspread when the dragonfly lands. The damselfly is more slender and flies more slowly. Its wings are the same size. When the damselfly rests, its wings come together over its back. The dragonfly begins life in the water. The female lays her eggs in the water. As she flies over the pond again and again, she dips underwater to wash off the eggs. Some species lay their eggs in long strings on water plants. Such a string may have 100,000 eggs. The damselfly cuts a slit in the stems of water plants. Then she puts her eggs in the opening. Sometimes the damselfly goes underwater and walks about looking for a good cradle for the eggs. In 1 to 4 weeks, the eggs hatch into larvae called nymphs. The nymph stage, depending on the species, lasts from a couple of months to more than 5 years. When they reach adult stage, dragonflies live for only a couple of months. Okay, I will stop the video now. You'll do the multiple choice test, okay, and then you will plot on your progress chart. And then we'll come back together and work on the gun. Okay, so now you've completed the dragonfly and the questions, and you plotted your information on the progress chart. So we are going to move back into a couple of other tasks today. You should have open the gun. So you want to go to the daily doc for the gun. I'm going to X out of my other comprehension test there and the passages because we're completed with those. So now I'm going to go over here to the gun information. So we did the dragonfly. We're going to look at the warm-ups for the gun for chapters 2 and 3. So you should open up to the warm-up section for chapter 2 and 3. Some of you are using the paper copy and some of you are using the online document. So let's look at the warm-ups at this time. Okay, so you should be in the gun warm-ups, whether it's paper or online. So I'm going to grab the ones that are online here. Okay, so otherwise some of you have them in your bag. Some of you put them in your binder. We have quite a few to do because we didn't do any last time. So I'm going to open this up like this. All right, so in the gun, okay, you have the warm-up section. We pretty much, we read through chapter 2. We already did the clue thing here for those. So we already talked about how the father will react to a suspension. We already know, actually, because we read it, that he got really upset and was mad because they have to spend money and said he'll break his other wrist. You already know how students react after a suspension. When somebody comes back to school, they kind of snicker and they're not really fearing him. Okay. Then if you go on to pages 17 through 24, we have some terms here. Meaningless. Okay, so meaningless if he glanced at the meaningless words and sentences on the pages and noticed Harold Davis watching him, if something's meaningless, what do you think it means? With less on there, you would know that it doesn't mean anything, okay? It's not really meaning anything, okay? The next one, a big smile spread over Lark's lips, making the tiny scar vanish entirely. If something vanishes entirely, is it still there or is it not there? If it's entire, it's like the whole thing is gone, okay, so you don't really see it. And the next one, he smirked at her as she approached, but she acted as if she didn't see him. Okay, if somebody's approaching you, they're coming near you, toward you. Okay, so approaching means coming toward. All right, so that was part of chapter 2 from last time. And then go ahead and complete, what do you think interference means? Chorus, defiantly, strutted. And then for today, pages 28 through 34 for chapter 3, you have strutted there, philosophy, imitation, and then listing 3 things that happened last time that we read. And then, of course, you have to do ruckus, mission, and pelting. Okay, so pretty much finished pages 2 and 3 in the document, pages 2 and 3 for chapters 2 and 3. Okay, so right now I'll stop the video and then you will complete pages 2 and 3 in your warm-ups. All right, so pages 2 and 3 should be done at this time. We are looking at the daily doc. We read that last time that his dad was this big football star, Gil, and he liked people to fear him even at work. He's upset about the wrist being broken, and he's upset that his son, Tyree, is getting into trouble, but yet he has not been the greatest role model either, saying that, people should fear him. So today we're going to listen to chapter 3, but before we do that, again, you have your vocab. It's due this week, Wednesday, Thursday. The last words here, fortify and fracture. Okay, fortify and fracture. Fortify means to strengthen. Fortify. Fort means, well, you have to look these up, and IFY for the suffix. So use the charts in your binder or in the other materials folder in the vocab. So then I put fortnight and satisfy for the IFY and fort for fortnight. You use fortify in a sentence, and then I gave you one there. The other word is fracture. Fract, to break. Your act or process being, you look up the definition, the 2 words with, use fract and URE, and then 2 sentences, one using fracture and one using other words. Okay, so you did the warm-ups for chapters 2 and 3, which was worksheet 2 and 3, or on the document. We went over a little vocab for vocab set 6 is due Wednesday, Thursday. Now we're going to read chapter 3. We'll listen to it. Again, you're working on reading assignment sheet 5 through 8 and vocab set 6. Okay, so today's words would be strutted. If somebody struts, it's kind of how they walk, all cocky. A philosophy is a belief in something. And to imitate or imitation is to act like somebody else, imitation. Okay, so I will stop the video. We're going to listen to chapter 3 today. We'll listen to chapter 3. Again, remember we did chapter 2 last time. That's where he finds a friend named Lark. He wants to manipulate her. He remembers how his dad, Gil, would manipulate his mom when he wanted money, and he'd give her compliments or be all nicey nice. Gil mentions to Tyree that you don't get anywhere being nice. You want to have people fear you. He was an awesome football player back in the day. Lark saw that because she saw it in the yearbook. Tyree knows he can't keep up with his dad because he doesn't have the grades. He goes to buy a burger, looks in his pocket, no money because he's not getting any from anybody. Finds Bones on the corner. That's who Warren, his brother, used to hang out with. Bones is trouble. He's got a gun. And Tyree wants to buy the gun for $50, but Bones says, no, not yet. You're still just a kid. Think about it for a week and then we'll see. So Tyree doesn't want to wait a whole week. So that's where we've ended up. So right now, we'll listen to chapter 3, and then if we have time, we're going to practice the vocab 6 Quizlet afterwards. So I'll stop my video. We'll listen to chapter 3, discuss it, and then whatever we don't finish, you have to finish on your own, and then we'll do the vocab 6 Quizlet. At this time, you can also kind of take your binder and put that away, clean up your space, and then just open up to chapter 3.